It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in.
What was it like on that first one? Because previously you pretty much buying things that are already running, properties that are already rented out, and so forth. What was it like transitioning and getting into the BRRRR strategy and contractors and just a lot more stuff, a lot more variables? Talk to us about what that was like.
Man, listen, I'm gonna walk you through the BRRRR process and the steps, right? So the first one is to buy. All right, so I'm already in St. Louis. How do I buy a property off, that needs work at the price that I need it? So most people look at a property and try to find the ARV. Say the ARV is 100, they want to buy a property for 50, 60,000, but there has to be enough room in there for it to make sense. So it's like, all right, well, where do I find the properties at? So start looking at on Zillow and Redfin and all those websites. Start looking at properties, and then if you find a property like, oh, these numbers work, let me look at it. Not realizing there's a realtor that's involved, and they're strategically pricing it low to start a bidding war. That doesn't work for me because I'm not living in the property. Someone who lives in a property obviously can offer more than I want to offer because I have certain criteria and numbers I need to hit. It's like, damn, that doesn't work. Okay, let me find a wholesaler. So I actually found a wholesaler and started doing a mastermind group with Sam out of St. Louis. Sam does a bunch of stuff on the internet, but found a wholesaler with him. This is, mind you, this is after several months of trying to do this on my own. I would find a property, say I did find a property prior to finding a wholesaler, then I would have to send out a contractor to go see that property, right? Because I'm not there. I need them to go buy the property and give me the numbers. Now here's one of the other hardest parts of being a distant investor trying to BRRRR. What is, if a property hits the market, you have other people seeing that same property. And if you have a contractor, that contractor may go today, they may go 2 or 3 days, they may go in 4 days. And then if they go, you may never hear from them. They may send you a quote and it might take a week to get that quote. The house is gone, boom, all right? But that contractor, you took up a lot of his or her time. That contractor may or may not even return your calls after that. And you're a long distant investor, like, damn, I just lost a contractor. So I went to one contractor, same thing happened. He went by another house that I saw, a new contractor sent me the numbers and then just disappeared. So it's like, this is taking a lot of time and effort because there's so many pieces. I play chess. Do you play chess? There's so many.
Not since I was a kid.
There's so many moving pieces on this board that have different strategies and different movements. And so finally got with a wholesaler. The great thing about a wholesaler is a wholesaler wants to move that property as quickly as possible. And they understand what the investor's end game is. And so they're more willing, they're more so what you're looking for. And as far as properties to do the BRRRR strategy. So that was one on the B, the first B, which is buy. Got with a wholesaler brought me the property. Great. Second step in that BRRRR strategy is to rehab. Like I said, finding these contractors and finding one that you can trust. Remember, I'm long distance. So I don't know any of these contractors. I've never seen them, had a conversation with them. And so what I decided to do with this contractor, the contractor company is Epic with a K. I love them. I work with Patrick and Ashley. They're awesome. But what I did with this is I realized, all right, I can't just send the contractor out to every property that I think is interesting because it's not cost effective for them. After a few of these, it's kind of like, you're not going to continue to send me all around town. So I had to tighten my game up as far as what I'm looking at. So the wholesaler brought me this property. They can run the ARV. That was another hiccup. This is a long-winded conversation, by the way. But that's another hiccup that they don't tell you is, say you find a property, a wholesaler brings you a property, how do you know what the active repair value is, the ARV? You're not a realtor. You don't have, especially in that state or that city, you're not a realtor there. So how are you going to run comps for that property in order to see what the ARV is going to be? So it's another hiccup. So now I'm just like, damn, like, how am I going to run comps? So on this one, luckily, the wholesaler was able to run comps. And most wholesalers can run comps because they have, connection with realtors, or they have their real estate license. But I signed up with Batch Leads. I don't know if you ever have heard of Batch Leads. Batch Leads allows me to run comps everywhere across the nation. So I don't have to rely on the real estate and what information they're providing. But with that first property, it was a duplex. They ran the comps. I ran the comps. Comps came out at 125, bought it for 75. It's like, all right, great. Find this contractor. So the rehab, he went and looked at the property. Mind you, the wholesaler was like, oh, some quick touch-ups, you're good. Contractor went to the property, said, no, this needs a new roof. This is done. And a new kitchen, a new bathroom. Great. Got under contract. The contractor started. Now this is the scariest moment of the process for me and any of my real estate investing partners. Mm-hmm. So the contractor wanted 50% down initially. I don't know you.
Right.
Like to this day, I've never seen my contractor. And I kind of want to keep it that way until I reach like my 100 unit goal. But I was like, damn, like I don't know this person, right? I don't know this company. What if they just take my money and run? So we work things out. This is how we're going to pay on tier levels, which I highly recommend. You accomplish this, I'll give you this. You do the roof, I'll give you this. You finish the kitchen, I'll give you this. And so it worked out for both of us. And so that was the rehab aspect. So mind you, say it's June 1st. I bought the property on June 1st. Because I'm paying cash, there was no delay in the closing. I closed within like two or 3 weeks, right? So now we're like on June 20th, just for example. Paid the contractor. Contractor came in, busted out the roof and the kitchen and the bathroom in a week. So we're looking at like July 10th, for example. So all in, we're looking at 6 weeks. Boom. So buy, rehab. There was already a tenant in the first floor. I talked to our property manager. Let's put a tenant in there. Now you have to go to the rehab process.
Are you looking for a community of like-minded individuals and access to experts in real estate?
Yeah.
Are you interested in real estate but need more support and guidance?
You know who it is?
The Black Real Estate Dialogue presents the Real Estate Investing Community. No matter how much or how little real estate experience you have, we've created a community for you because your perspective is important. All right, tell me, where's the #1 place where you can do Q&A with experienced guest speakers 2 times per month? How about unlimited access to past guest speakers' recordings? What about a private Slack channel to engage in daily discussion with everybody in the community to share resources and support each other? Head on over to blackrealestatedialogue.com. That's blackrealestatedialogue.com. It's the real estate investing community presented by the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Come join us today.
One thing I noticed is that you self-manage. Is that right?
We do. I do. Yeah.
Tell me, so are you the one who manages all the properties that are tenanted right now?
I do it all, man.
Yeah.
I do it all. But I'm in the process, like I said, of rolling it out. So now I've tapped somebody else who's going to manage that underneath me.
Okay.
And then I just kind of manage the property manager. The reason why we did that is because I wanted to maximize our ROI first and foremost. Because when you hire a property manager, and this is maybe me being kind of pessimistic, sometimes they're definitely going to get their 10%. They're going to get their 10% of the gross rent period. But then as repairs come up, you're going to not only pay for repairs, but you're also going to pay for them to manage and administer the repairs. So that's going to cost you more money. I kind of wanted to skip the middleman and just do it myself. And I realized that self-managing isn't really that difficult. Managing real estate isn't that difficult. And I think that's what encouraged me to continue to do it more and more. It's gotten a little bit more intensive now just because we have some repairs that need to get done. And so I'm having to schedule those and get people out. But I always tell people, like, managing long distance is as simple as going to Google and saying plumber in Detroit, electrician in Detroit, roofer in Detroit, making the call, sending them out there and getting it done. What causes me the most stress is just making sure that we're getting the best price and making sure we're not getting taken advantage of, because I want the investment to make sense. And I think that's why I did it, because for me, it's a part of asset management. So it's not even just property management as much as it's asset management. And Tide Capital, like I said, the business of Tide Capital, we get paid to manage the asset. We also have equity in the asset as well, but that's how I get paid. I get paid because I manage the asset, which I think kind of falls into property management. So it's not easy, but it's definitely not hard. And I think that people can do it. Like, you don't get as many calls as you think you're going to get. When I realized that, I was like, why would I pay somebody to do this? They never call me. Like, they never call me. And when they do call me, it's usually something really bad. I can't imagine, like, we've had some rough patches, but a lot of times you also have to train your tenants. So you had to train your tenants to know that we communicate through these different platforms. Like, I had a tenant who, when there's a big problem, she would call me over and over and over and over and over and over again until I picked up. And I told her, I was like, don't do that. You call, you leave a message, we'll have somebody call you back. And so she started doing that, and now we're cool. And so I think that a part of it is just training your people. And also, like, I couldn't see a property manager making a better return on our property than we were. And I didn't want that to happen. And so I think that a lot of times people will hire property management out of fear. And I would encourage you to do it yourself for at least 6 months, or do it yourself for at least 3 months, and then see if you can do it. It's really not that difficult. You'll find a ways to get things done. So the way we would fill properties is we use different apps. And so we use an app called Avail. I think I mentioned that on the course. And then we also use an app called Rent-A-Links, which advertises to all the different like Zillow, Redfin, so that you can get your listing out to people, just like if you were like a brokerage service. And then we have these, what else do we use? I think that's pretty much it on the software side, but we try to get everybody to do everything through the software portal. I was going to say something about just in collecting rent. When we collect rent, at first we thought we were going to collect it, everybody paying it through our online portal, but a lot of times people don't really have computer access. And so they just drop it in our Chase account. So we have a national bank, and there's a Chase on like almost every other block in Detroit. So they just drop it in there. So it's not, like I said, it's not easy, but it's not hard. But I'd rather keep that money, especially as we scale. It's like you have 10 doors cash flow, that's $1,000 a month I'm just giving to somebody else to take phone calls that aren't really that annoying. And if we're keeping it 100, they never really call you. And as we scale, it's going to get even easier to handle these difficulties. So I don't want to give somebody that money for free.
I hear you. And are y'all focused on a certain part of Detroit, or are your properties kind of spread among several different neighborhoods?
So we're kind of scattered out there. As we buy stuff, the goal is to buy things on that block. So if we're rehabbing a house right now, and next to it is like some homes that should be bought. And so we're looking at those homes and contacting those homeowners directly. And I think that would be like, if I'm going to focus on the area, I'm going to focus on the street, but I'm not like saying this is the zip code I want, because I know that the path to progress is coming, because I don't want to be a real estate speculator. I don't want to be somebody who's betting on some swing or some trend or some momentum to save us. We buy for cash flow, period. And if we get appreciation, great. But I'm not buying for appreciation, because that's how people get stuck, especially when they start leveraging. And so for me, I'm not so in love with picking and choosing zip codes or picking and choosing this. I'm just like, do the numbers make sense? Because we buy, like Jay Morrison said, we buy numbers. We don't buy real estate. We buy numbers. We don't buy zip codes, even though a zip code is kind of a number. But if the numbers on the deal make sense, that's what I'm looking for. I want to make sure that it's going to cash flow, ideally $500 a month, and it's going to give us at least a 40% ROI. If we can get at least a 40% ROI, that's what I want.
Hi everyone, Sam here from Black Real Estate Dialogue. make sure to hit that notification bell and that subscribe button, and to visit us at blackrealestatedialogue.com.